YouTube fam? This is another how-to, and this is how to change your oil in your car. I have a 2011 Toyota Venza, and I'm going to teach you how to do a 2011 Toyota Venza with a V6 engine today. So, with further ado, here's the how-to. Enjoy. The laydown of the kind of setup that I've got so far with my oil change. You definitely need a socket wrench, the appropriate socket, because you don't know what size nut that it goes on. And then, of course, my favorite, if needed, which my car doesn't really need it, is an oil filter wrench. This goes on the wrench itself, the socket wrench, whenever you try to do the oil filter change itself. So you're going to need that. And then I have, sorry for the mess in the back, I have this type of oil filter, which is this, where it just fits in the little socket, which I'll show you later. And then, of course, I'm going to pan over to the oil. My oil takes 5W30, and it's 6.5 quarts of oil that it takes. So that is what I acquired for my oil change today. And yeah, so let's go show you the other stuff. As you can see underneath my car, I've got two jacks here, an oil pan, and my regular jack for my car. That's what I've got in the front. Back, I have two car wheel chocks, so my car doesn't slide backwards. Remember, fam, safety first. All right, now we're underneath the car, and there is where the oil filter is, this here. And as you can see, it's got a square, which means that my socket wrench can actually just fit in here, and I can just unscrew it. Now, the coolest part about the Toyota Venza is that directly next to it, right in this area, I don't know if you can see right here, that is where I can drain the rest of the oil out. That's the nut that I can unscrew to release the oil. So, yeah, good times. As you can tell, I'm a little tired because I got up early. Anyways, let's get to it. This thing that we need to do, pardon the mess again in my car, is to open up the hood to let the air flow through when you drain your oil. That way there's no air bubbles or anything of that sort. So now, we're going to open up the, if I can do this one-handed. Alright, so there's a tab here that you push up. I'm going to show you once we do it that we have the pull for. Where's the pull? There it is. Okay, I'm going to do this. Sorry about the mess with my car too. Alright, I'm going to put you guys down real quick. Okay, and that's how it is propped up. And then the tab to open up your hood is right here. The yellow part is the dipstick, which I'm going to show you in another video how to check it. And then this here is the oil to put the oil in. So you're going to just open up the cap to let the air flow when you put the oil in and let the oil drain out. Like so. I usually put it on top so I don't forget where it's at, because like a dum-dum, I forget. So, and then we get to draining. Let's drain. Alright, as you can see, it's flowing out pretty good. I usually let it go to a drip on this side before I do the oil filter itself. But as you can see, it's right there, like I said, where it's located, and then the other part's over here for the filter. And remember, lefty loosey, righty tighty, okay? Now, as you can see in this part, it's just dripping now, which means that it indicates that it's time to do the filter now. So let's do the filter. I'm going to also teach you how to do a wrench. All right, so the wrench, in order to take a wrench part off, you just push in this button and it falls out like that, see? And then when you put it back on, you want to make sure the square part matches up with the square part here. So you do this, push in the button, and there it is. Ta-da! That's how you put on a wrench. Okay, so as you can see, the filter is out and is drained. This is the easy part where you take the filter out with one hand, because I'm filming with the other. Gotta put you down for a moment. There we go. Okay, that's how it gets out. without the struggle of having two hands. It kind of sucks. But either way, it's done. It's out. The next thing you want to do is you also see this ring here. You also want to pull that out. You can easily do that with a flathead screwdriver to pop it out and put in the new ring when you get to open up the package for the new filter. So I'm going to do that real quick, and I'll be right back with the rest. As you can see, I have the flathead screwdriver in there, and then I'm just going to easily slip it right out once I'm done. Alright, so I opened the contents of the filter. This you don't necessarily need. I have no idea for what it is, so we're just going to toss it. The rings that come in this are this little ring that we took off here. And we put back on this part here, as you can see right here. We're going to put that ring back on there. And then the filter goes in place on the other side. I'm going to show you that here in a second. And voila, magic. I put it on. Look at that. Snap. So there's the old filter, new filter. There's the ring. So we put it on there, and then we're going to take this fancy filter and just, you know, wing that way. Ha! Today. Ta-da! Magic. And then we're just going to slide it right on down into there. Like so. See? Ta-da! Brand new filter in there. Okay? And then the easy part is you just twist it back on the socket where it came from, which is where I showed you previously. So with that, I'm going to show you it once complete and full on the bottom side, and then I'll show you how to pour in the oil. Now, the most important part, of course, is to wear gloves while you're doing this, because it'll stain your hands and make your hands all smelly for a hot minute. And it's just the chemicals in it are just really gross. So this is the box of gloves that I purchased that I suggest you all get and use. Of course, I have small because my hands are tiny and I'm not very athletic-y when it comes to that, because my hands are tiny and my fingers are like sausages. But anyways, these are the type of style of gloves that I get. So with that, yeah. Alright, there's the bottom part. Make sure you clean up any excess oil on your oil tray back here and tighten up your stuff. But don't tighten it too tight to the point where you can't even get it off, because if you do it too tight, you'll ruin the threads. Do it just enough, I would say, to enough arm strength to the point where you can kind of use your arm strength to get it off instead of a hammer. In order to get this one off today, it was a pain in the butt, so I had to use a hammer to kind of knock it loose a little bit. And then, you know, of course, elbow grease. So, but you should use elbow grease in order to loosen it anyways. Alright, with that, I'm going to do top side and put the oil in. So, you can get this oil pan at any auto parts store. I went to, I believe, O'Reilly's Auto Parts to get this. And it holds up to 16 quarts of oil. And a key thing to remember, fellas and ladies and whoever's doing this, boys and girls, to recycle your oil. When you recycle your oil, you can go to any auto parts store like O'Reilly's, Advanced, and AutoZone to recycle your oil. So what they do is they'll just take it to the back and they'll dump the oil into something and they'll process it and take it somewhere where it can get recycled. But this holds 16 instead of having an open pan, which I prefer over anything. I also take note that I've got some foam in here to absorb some of the extra oil so that it doesn't dump all over and make a hot mess all over the concrete that you have in your driveway. That's what I suggest. But you can, guys, do whatever you want with it. But I really, really think that you all should do your part like I do and recycle your oil. Alright, so when putting the oil in, I always get a funnel like this where you can purchase at any kind of auto store, Advanced, O'Reilly, or at AutoZone. And I just put it in here loosely. And it's okay if it goes in loosely, because when you pour it in, you're just going to hold it and pour it. And then you're going to open this. Open up your oil. And I'm not going to try to spill any oil on my phone because that would really suck. And you just pour. Pour, pour, pour. Ooh. Oh, and there goes my shit. Okay, let's get it set up there. It is my fault. I suck at this. I'm so sorry. So we're gonna just continue to pour. And then you pour, like I said, 6.5. This is a 5 quart that I'm pouring in right now. And then there's another quart that I'm about to pour in that'll equal up to 6. And then, of course, a half of another quart. So, da-da-da-da-da. Ta-da! One done. So, again, like I said, after you're all done, you want to re-tighten the cap that you have on here. But don't, just tighten it enough to where it kind of clicks. And then, after that, you're done. So, congratulations. You did your very first oil change. Woo-hoo! Also, if you could please like, follow, subscribe, and comment below how goofy this video was, that would be great. Or how much of a mess up I am, because, I dumped the phone a lot. Until then, thanks for watching, guys. Ta-ta, peace, and bye then.